Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a dramatic and pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. How Russia's logistical lifeline to the annexed peninsula of Crimea was set ablaze in aid. During Ukrainian assault, this is not just a tactical strike, it carries immense strategic and symbolic weight that could reshape the dynamics of the war. The key target in this story is the massive Kerch Bridge, also known as the Crimean Bridge. It spans the Kerch Strait, connecting mainland Russia with Crimea. For years, this bridge has stood not just as an engineering marvel, but as a symbol of Moscow's claim over the region. Built after the 2014 annexation of Crimea, it was personally inaugurated by Vladimir Putin and has since been portrayed as proof of Russia's permanent grip on the peninsula. The recent Ukrainian assault struck at the heart of this symbolism. Reports say that in the early hours of June 3, 2025, the Security Service of Ukraine carried out a precise underwater operation, detonating explosives near one of the bridge's underwater support structures. The explosion caused extensive damage and forced Russia to temporarily close sections of the bridge. Even though Russian officials downplayed the scale of destruction, satellite images and independent analysis suggested that the damage was serious enough to disrupt traffic and supplies for weeks, or even months. This strike isn't random. For Ukraine, targeting the Kerch Bridge hits multiple goals at once. Militarily, it's a blow to Russia's logistics. Politically, it's a statement of defiance. Symbolically, it challenges one of the Kremlin's proudest achievements. The bridge is a major artery that carries troops, fuel, ammunition, and equipment into Crimea, supplies that then feed Russia's military operations in southern Ukraine. Interrupting or even slowing that supply chain can directly impact Russia's battlefield capabilities. By striking the underwater support columns, Ukraine demonstrated that it could reach deep into what Moscow considered safe territory. This is part of a growing pattern of Ukrainian attacks on Russian infrastructure, from oil refineries and depots to air bases far behind enemy lines. The strategy is clear: make Russia feel the cost of the occupation, stretch its defenses, and undermine its sense of invulnerability. The engineering challenge of repairing the bridge will be immense. Underwater structural damage requires specialized equipment, skilled divers, and constant protection from further attacks. Analysts estimate that even partial repairs could take months, depending on weather conditions and the intensity of Ukrainian follow-up strikes. During this period, Russia's military logistics to Crimea will likely be rerouted through sea ferries and other land routes, all of which are slower and more vulnerable to interception. This assault sends a loud message that no matter how fortified or symbolic an asset is, it's still within reach of Ukrainian ingenuity. It's a display of precision warfare using advanced technology, including underwater drones and remote, detonated charges. It also signals Ukraine's shift from defensive operations toward a more offensive, strategic approach aimed at crippling Russia's war machinery rather than just holding ground. For Russia, this is a nightmare scenario. The Kremlin has poured billions into securing Crimea and ensuring steady connections to the mainland. The bridge's damage strikes not just their logistics but their narrative. It was a symbol of unity, of permanence, of victory, and now it's a burning reminder of vulnerability. Russian media initially tried to minimize the event, but even state commentators couldn't fully hide the reality that a key piece of infrastructure had been successfully attacked under their watch. The timing is also crucial. The attack came as Russia was reinforcing its southern lines and preparing for new offensives. Any disruption to its supply network complicates these plans. Shortages of ammunition, fuel, and reinforcements can slow Russia's operations, buying Ukraine valuable time to strengthen its positions and coordinate further strikes. Beyond the battlefield, the psychological impact is significant. Ukrainians see this as proof that their forces can strike deep into enemy territory. It boosts morale and reinforces national resilience. For Russians, especially those in Crimea, it's a chilling reminder that the war is no longer distant. It's a direct threat to what many believed was fully under Moscow's control. The bridge's destruction also complicates civilian life. For residents in Crimea, it means limited travel, higher prices for fuel and goods, and uncertainty about how long the disruption will last. Supply shortages may ripple across the region, adding to existing economic strain caused by sanctions and the ongoing war. Experts suggest that this could mark the beginning of a new phase in the conflict, one focused on deep strike operations. Instead of large-scale ground offensives, Ukraine may continue to target the infrastructure that sustains Russia's war effort. Each hit, whether on a bridge, depot, or refinery, chips away at Russia's ability to sustain its military and its public confidence. Russia will certainly retaliate. Historically, each Ukrainian strike on Russian infrastructure has been followed by waves of missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities. Moscow will likely intensify its strikes on energy facilities, rail hubs, and defense industries across Ukraine. However, every missile used in retaliation is one less available for frontline combat, and Ukraine's growing air defenses are increasingly effective at intercepting them. What's clear is that Ukraine has developed remarkable capability in asymmetric warfare. By combining intelligence, engineering, and drone technology, it can punch far above its weight. The bridge attack showcases how warfare has evolved. It's no longer just tanks and trenches, but also innovation, strategy, and psychological warfare. From a strategic standpoint, this operation could have lasting effects. If Ukraine continues to degrade Russia's logistical lifelines, especially into Crimea, Moscow's ability to hold and supply its forces there could weaken significantly. This, in turn, could open the door for future Ukrainian counteroffensives aimed at retaking the peninsula or at least isolating it completely. The international reaction has been telling. Western analysts have praised the precision and boldness of the strike, viewing it as evidence that Ukrainian forces are capable of independent, sophisticated operations. Many Western countries have quietly supported Ukraine's right to target military infrastructure in occupied territories, even if located beyond its pre-2022 borders. Meanwhile, Russia has condemned the attack as terrorism, a familiar narrative aimed at rallying domestic support and justifying further escalation. The Kremlin faces a dilemma. It must restore the bridge to maintain the image of control, but every repair effort invites another strike. It can't defend every asset across thousands of kilometers, and each new Ukrainian success exposes how overstretched Russia's defenses really are. This growing vulnerability could eventually shift the balance of power, both militarily and psychologically. As the flames from the bridge die down, their echo continues across the geopolitical landscape. Ukraine has proven that it can strike at the very core of Russia's occupation network. This attack is not just about steel and concrete, it's about momentum, about the message that the occupied is fighting back with precision, intelligence, and resilience. Looking ahead, we can expect Ukraine to maintain this pressure. Future strikes could target key infrastructure inside Crimea and perhaps even deeper into Russian territory. Each successful operation amplifies Ukraine's leverage in any potential negotiations, reminding the world that Crimea remains contested and that Russia's control there is far from secure. For ordinary people in both countries, this war continues to reshape daily life. For Ukrainians, it's a fight for survival and sovereignty. For Russians, It's increasingly a question of why their leadership's promises of security and victory keep crumbling under the weight of reality. Every bridge, every depot, every explosion tells a story of defiance, adaptation, and persistence. The attack on Russia's lifeline to Crimea is one such story. It's a reminder that in modern warfare, victory isn't always about territory gained, but about the systems you can disrupt and the confidence you can shatter. Ukraine's operation on the Kerch Bridge has not only caused physical damage, but also punctured a powerful illusion. The illusion that Crimea is untouchable, that Russia's occupation is irreversible, that its infrastructure is safe. It showed that determination, creativity, and technology can overcome even the most fortified of structures. In the coming months, the battle for logistics will likely intensify. Ukraine will aim to keep Russia on the defensive, forcing it to divert resources from the front lines to repair and protect its rear. Russia, in turn, will try to strengthen its infrastructure, build redundancies, and restore confidence among its population. But every repair takes time, and every delay gives Ukraine another opportunity. What happens next will depend on both nations' resilience and the world's continued support for Ukraine. As long as Kiev maintains international backing and access to advanced technology, it can continue striking critical points like the Kerch Bridge. For Russia, the challenge will be to sustain a long war while defending an ever-expanding list of vulnerable targets. Ultimately, this attack reminds us that no war is fought on the battlefield alone. It's fought in logistics centers, supply routes, energy networks, and information spheres. The burning of